All right, super crucial video for you guys today. We're going to be talking about one of the most important decisions you're going to be making, and that's the van, or rather, most likely the used van that you're going to be purchasing to build your mobile base camp. So this video is designed to educate you so that when you go in to that used car dealership or that Facebook marketplace meetup, that you know exactly what to look for and that you're equipped. So the first thing I'm going to tell you is I'm going to give you the golden goose. I'm going to tell you, get a blue driver. Okay, so a blue driver is basically a OBD scanner that's, via Bluetooth that you can use on an app on your phone. And that's basically going to allow you to scan the vehicle to see if there are any DTC codes, which are, the error codes. But some of them, they don't always pop up on the dashboard. And you know what? If they have an OBD scanner, they can also delete the codes themselves. So when you're trying it out, when you're buying it, when you're checking it out, it could look like everything's fine, but then they'll pop up again after a certain time. So this allows you to see those, what we call permanent DTC codes that are, you can kind of get rid of those too, probably, if you're really if they were like tuning it and stuff and that kind of stuff. But anyways, most people don't go to that extent. They just delete the codes with an OBD scanner and then you think it's fine and then it's not. So Blue Driver, you get the app, you go check it out. You say, I'm going to plug in my Blue Driver. And if they have a problem with that, then already that's a pretty big red flag. But if you go to a used car dealership, they'll let you do whatever. You can even get a mechanic to inspect it. So you know what? You can probably get a mechanic to inspect it. If you're really serious about this, just get a mechanic to inspect it. But let's say you don't want to go that route. Another thing you can do is do your research. So, and I'm talking about look for what the problems are in the specific year, model, make, everything that you're looking at. So let's say Ford Transit 2017 diesel 3.2 liter Power Stroke, okay? You look that up, the main problems. It'll tell you, and then you can check the mileage that it's at, obviously. And here's a really, really important tip. If it's anywhere between 100 and 200,000 kilometers, if you're in miles to the conversion, if you're anywhere in that range, that's usually when the first iteration of components starts to fail. So, that's when you usually, if you have a diesel van, that's when your torque converter usually gives out. So I made a video talking specifically about that issue. I'll leave a link to it. But yeah, so, between 100 and 200,000 kilometers, especially if the transmission fluid wasn't changed, torque converter can go out. And, other stuff like the alternator, you don't know, man. You just don't know the batteries. You got to look at everything because at some point everything will break and you'll have to replace it. But then once you understand the long-term vision, it's like whatever. Even if in your first year you end up spending like $15,000 in repairs like I did, extended guarantee paid for about 5,000 of that, luckily, right? So I got my money's worth out of that, but still. So anyways, if it happens to you 1 year, but like for example, this year, $0 on repairs. So diesels, they break down not frequently and they break down, well, when they break down, you gotta dish out. But I made a video about that. So talking about because personally, obviously we at DIY Camper Build recommend diesel vans, but whether you're getting gasoline or diesel, just do your research, guys. But if you are going with diesel, another thing you need to keep in mind, something that I was not aware of when I purchased mine. I'm not going to get too into the details with this one, but do your own research. Look up diesel emissions systems and look at how many people are having issues and dishing out thousands of dollars every year for emission systems. From there, you can make a decision, and I'm going to leave that in your hands. But you got to do your research. I'm not going to baby you guys. I'm not going to take you guys by the hand. I mean, if you really want me to baby you, or just to, take you by the hand, I'm kidding. Book a consultation, and we'll talk about it. But for now, just do your research. look into diesel emission systems if you're gonna go diesel, which I still recommend, believe it or not. But anyways, so moving on. So once you have all that settled, you went to the dealership, you scanned, there's no codes, you assume that they didn't fuck with the mileage too, you know, like, cause you can obviously fake the mileage of the vehicle, especially nowadays, well, even back then with the analog system. But anyway, it looks good. Maybe you even had it inspected by a mechanic. You did your research, you know what's gonna go wrong. You buy it. Okay, so if you're doing it for a business, like I did, honestly, the thing I regret the most is I put like a $10,000 down payment on it when I realized that you can't declare your vehicle expenses just in one shot. Like, you can't be like, I can't put that $10,000 as an expense directly that year. I would have to use a cost capital allowance, okay, which I'm not gonna talk about because this isn't an accounting course, but just to say I would put a lower down payment. Who cares about the monthly payments? Like, you know, you're just buying yourself time. If you're financing, you're just buying yourself time. You're monetizing it, good for you. If this doesn't apply to you and you just want a camper van to like show off to your friends and like go on adventures and, you know, trips, weekend getaways, completely disregard what I said. Put the biggest down payment, you know, if you can't buy it cash, straight up. But that's pretty much all there is to that. So those are all the tips really I have to share with you guys. There's not really much else besides, you know, do the research and get an OBD scanner. You don't have to get the Blue Driver if you don't want to. Not like I have like a sponsorship with them or anything, so what do I care? But yeah, any type of OBD scanner, that one's better because it gives you a lot more stuff. There are other similar ones that give you all the permanent codes and even allow you to like, you know, diagnose specific things. That you can check how much power the battery is outputting, you know, the temperature of the engine, like that kind of stuff. Like, so it's a bit cooler, but there's like at least 3 or 4 devices in that same line of capabilities. But that's pretty much all there is to it, guys. So if you have any questions, leave them down in the comments. And if you really want a second opinion from myself, I'd rather you go to a mechanic, but if you want my opinion, just book a consultation and we'll call it like a, you know, used vehicle purchase consultation, something along those lines. You can put it on your expenses and everyone's gonna be happy, besides the government.
All right, guys, that's it for this one. If you're building something that's meant to last, whether it's a camper van, a business, or just a better way of living, I'm glad you're here. Everything I use, recommend, or offer is linked in the description. Take what works, build your own blueprint, and I'll see you in the next one.